Okay, Mr. Grant, I would ask you one last question before we open the lines. Of course, you know, this program, the purpose of this program is to get your concerns, your questions, your suggestions in terms of how we can improve the country that we really call ours. And we're going to open the lines in a while, but one last question, Mr. Grant. In the last 6 months, what can you tell us in terms of the changes that you have brought to the ministries that you have been designated?
Well, it seems as though you left the hardest question for last in terms of changes. But what I would say is that I have been around for the last 7 or 8 months. And what I wanted to ensure that happened is that we put systems and policies in place to move forward. Because I met my ministries with areas of concern, and which we had to address. For example, I can say, for example, I had a meeting at the Frigate Bay Development Corporation, which comes under my ministry, and I was appalled that they had not had a staff meeting for 17 years. How can you run a business like that? And so when they told me 17 years, I said, no, it must be a mistake. And the general manager at the time was there, and it was true, 17 years. And so we had to set a policy in place that going forward we have to have regular meetings. I mean, that's matters as simple as this. In the tourism in the authority, for example, we had the tourism authority acting, and we had the Ministry of Tourism acting, and there was not enough cooperation, dialogue, and interaction. So we now have weekly meetings between the Ministry of Tourism and the Tourism Authority. We've had extensive discussions with our overseas consultants to make sure that everyone is in the mix and understand. In fact, we had a meeting this morning with the Ministry of Tourism staff, and which is designated for every week. That has not happened. And so we have to, what the term is now, we have to look to the lowest hanging fruit. Is that the case? Yes. And so we're dealing with these matters and moving forward. But I believe policy is important. We have instituted several policies to determine for Port Zante in terms of discipline and how we move forward with that. We've had a lot of interaction with the taxi operators to tell them, look, this is how we expect things to happen and moving forward. So really and truly, it is trying to get a buy-in from the various stakeholders in terms of our new policy initiatives going forward. And I think it's working pretty well. And so once we have this sorted out, now you get to the bigger ticket items moving forward. But I am satisfied that in the last 6 months we've achieved much. For example, on October 26th, we're going to start the training for the first taxi operators. That has not been done since 2009, 6 years ago. So things that have been left in abeyance over the last couple of years, we're trying now to put those in order and then move forward in terms of our achievements.